respected Mr. T.P. Srinivasan, Vice Chairman, Kerala Higher Education Council, Professor K.C. Abraham, Father Prashant, Dr. N. Ramakanthan, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed privileged to share some of my thoughts with the Vice Chairman and the distinguished panelists and members of the audience. So in Kerala, we have a new situation in which we are debating the consequences of new governmental policies such as the introduction of the scheme of autonomy and also the private university bill, and of late you have the private special economic zone for higher education. These are three important areas in which we find new initiative by the council and by the government of Kerala. These are issues which are not properly debated. For example, the very issue of introduction of autonomous colleges in the state of Kerala was introduced by the then finance minister through his budget speech. It was not even introduced by the education minister. Through his budget speech, he said we are going to allow autonomous colleges. That was the starting point of a very serious change, structural change that we try to implement in this state. And with regard to the private universities bill, the education minister himself admitted that I am not aware of even the constitution of such a committee. He admitted that this is the result of a decision taken elsewhere. And with regard to the private universities, with regard to the higher education zone, in fact, that find expression in a different way in the Government of Kerala's 2030 policy document. So, one thing is sure and certain, Kerala society has not properly deliberated or discussed the social, economic and educational consequences of these three major initiatives, because Higher Education Council, which came into existence in 2007 in Kerala, was doing a very important and very fruitful discussion on various aspects of restructuring higher education in the state under the leadership of Dr. K. N. Panikkar. And we had the restructuring of the undergraduate education, and the committee was headed by none other than a scientist at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, Dr. N. Vijayan, and it also included persons like Achu Shankar and others. Then we had the committee for cluster of colleges. It was headed by Dr. Babu Joseph at the Cochin University. So there are various initiatives, and in fact the committee took nearly 1.5 years for organizing discussions before implementing the CBCSS reform in the state. You look at the initiatives by the present council without, say, adequate deliberation, especially at the academic level. All these were implemented in the state. I will take the first one, say, and before that one should keep in mind the general situation prevailing in the country. Say, we speak of the knowledge economy, we speak of human development index, and Kerala economy is noted for not the growth of income or output or goods. It is known to the outside world in terms of the social development. And social development in the state has come in not because or not after an economic development, as we see elsewhere in the world. So there are social investment, there is investment by several educational agencies, especially in the field of education, which transform the state of Kerala to the present state, and Kerala finds a place in the Human Development Report, which has actually attained a high level of or a middle level of human development. So there are several social, cultural, economic and historical factors that has created the present Kerala society. And education has played a major role. And education in that sense was based on a service. It was a philanthropic activity, unlike the idea that you try to sell at this stage of development. And the Prime Minister of the country, while discussing the 11th five-year plan, said the 11th five-year plan of India is the education plan of India. As students of economics, we used to say that the first plan was for agriculture, second for industry. But the Prime Minister said the 11th five-year plan is the national education plan, because the government of India earmarked nearly 90,000 crores of rupees for education alone, which in nominal terms was 10 times higher the funds that we earmarked in the previous five-year plan. So the emphasis of the government from the very beginning, or even during the UPA regime, was to strengthen education, because we are living in a new world. So the need was for public funded education. Public funded higher education is the need of the time. Of course, you can have internationalization of higher education, you can have collaboration, and Dr. Srinivasan should examine the number of collaborative agreements that Mahatma Gandhi University has taken. We have nearly 12 international centers, and there are 50 collaborative agreements that is existing between Mahatma Gandhi University and the rest of the world, other universities. And Mahatma Gandhi University was among the 5 universities which bagged the first prestigious Obama Singh Award, which in fact is the result of a collaborative agreement between the School of Environmental Science in Mahatma Gandhi University and 3 US universities. So the university system in Kerala may have a lot of deficiencies, and what is happening today is that a set of people who are destined or who are mandated to keep the running of this institution, they are destroying this institution from within. And the University Act and Statute says that the function of the Vice Chancellor is to protect and strengthen the Statute and Act. And the same people, they are destroying the system from within, which is paving the way for the entry of private interest. And the best example is the argument for autonomous college is built on the premise that universities are not in a position to conduct examinations in time. They are not publishing the results. Students take for the 2-year course, they have to spend 3 years. This is the argument that is being put forward by the votaries of autonomous college. But the idea of autonomous college is entirely different. You ask how many affiliated colleges in Kerala have the capability to formulate courses of their own. Most of the affiliated colleges in Kerala, they are recruiting teachers on the basis of, you tell how much amount of money they take for enrolling or giving appointment to the teachers. There may be few exceptions. They take money for appointment, they take money for admission. And these colleges are given the permission to formulate syllabi. And in colleges in the state or in this district, you have a lot of unaided courses in aided colleges. So how many unaided college teachers are qualified? And whether these teachers are capable of formulating a new curriculum which can replace the curriculum implemented by the Mahatma Gandhi University. Actually, Mahatma Gandhi University was in the forefront of curriculum reform. So we reformulated the curriculum on the basis of the UGC model curriculum. And in fact, UGC and the MHRD is putting restrictions on even that also at this point of time. But there has been regular modification of curriculum in Kerala universities, especially in this part of the country. And we have a checkered history of reform. And if you take statistics, you can see that the largest number of net holders, JRF holders, are from the South Indian universities. They are from the MG University and Kerala University. This is because the fact that we have an updated curriculum which include 20 papers, which include 5 optional papers. And there was also mention about the amount of funds that the government is earmarking. Of course, there is a national commitment And the Kothari Commission itself argued for 6% of the GDP. And we are now spending only something around 3% of GDP. And the 30% which Panikkar was telling was about the share of budget share. There is a difference between the budget share and the GDP share. The 6% is the target that entered the portals of higher education in Kerala. They owe their destiny to this public funded higher education in the state that is prevailing today. And we are not forgetting the service done by missionaries, Christian churches, or the SNDP, or the MES, or the NSS. But you have the new generation educational entrepreneurs. This is like Christian educational institutions, or the MES, or the SNDP, or the NSS have started their institution. You have a new set of, say, educational entrepreneurs, and the autonomy experience, it is going to face further problems in the coming days. And the first thing I would like to point out is that these colleges, some of the colleges may have good departments. You may have 40 departments or 50 departments. And how many teachers, how many departments are capable of formulating a curriculum, a syllabi, which can be favorably compared with the curriculum of any leading university in India? This is based on, this is mainly due to the process by which they recruit teachers. And can these colleges agree that this recruitment can be given to the PSC? And then they say PSC is corrupt. So the PSC is corrupt, the private agencies, they have their own practices. So the point is, you create best teachers first, recruit best teachers. Every college may have good teachers, or St. Teresa's may have good teachers, but if you manpower for formulating a curriculum which can be compared with the curriculum of any leading university like the Mahatma Gandhi University or any other university in the state. So I am stopping my intervention. I can give you further input with regard to the way in which things are doing, and I will conclude by saying that the higher education zone, it is for the super rich. They need not go abroad. The providers will come to this. And the private universities are for the rich in the state. And for the middle class, you have the autonomous colleges. And for the ordinary student, you go to the affiliated colleges, which is discarded both by the university and by the state government. This is the type of situation that is going to develop, unfold in the coming days. There is no serious deliberation with regard to any of the implications of the aspects of these three issues in the state. I conclude with this remark, and I will come back if you have any questions on this regard. Thank you.